Well, good morning and welcome to Elevenses. You're watching Kevin Williams here of Survival Skills Rider Training. And as you can see, I've come over all festive for our 98th edition of Elevenses. It's a miserable grey and very wet morning outside here in Kent. Just a couple of days. Kent? I'm in London. I've been in Kent for ages. Just a couple of days before Christmas. So what have we got for you today? Well, some good news from Cambridgeshire, a county that's actually encouraging a switch to motorcycles. We'll have a look at the latest COVID updates. MCE Insurance are claiming that they are going green with an initiative that recovers profit from recovered bike parts. We'll look at a Built XSR900 special. Would you buy a bike that looks like a pit bull? Equally ugly, but rather more practical, is the Riyachu Nuke urban scooter. So settle yourself down for the next 20 to 30 minutes of topical news, controversial views, and well, better biking tips. We'll do some of those next time out. So don't forget, if you can't make it live, you can catch up here or over on the Survival Skills UK channel on YouTube. And don't forget, if you have any comments, feedback, questions, requests for me to cover something about bike skills, do drop me a line at the in the comment box, and I'll get back to you at the end of the show. We've got Nigel saying good morning, and he says suits you, sir. Yes, indeed. Bar humbug is about it, really. Morning, Jack too. Yes, happy Christmas to you. Thank you very much. Right, okay, so on with the show then very quickly. What have we got today? As I said, first story is a positive one. A press release that's come out of Cambridge is that the county council is actively encouraging people to buy and use motorcycles. Their press release that came out earlier this week said that they're not just launching a trial to allow motorcycles access to one specific bus lane, but they actually want to encourage people to switch to powered two-wheelers. Now, I will say straight off that my chin hit the floor when I read that statement, because it's it's not something that you tend to hear. The council have opened the Elizabeth Way bus lane to motorcyclists and also to full electric cars on the 14th of December this year rather, and it's being seen as a big success for local MAG activists who have been campaigning for motorcycle access to bus lanes for many years. Importantly, the local MP is the Labour Daniel Zeichner, and he's also the Shadow Minister for the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, and he is supporting these calls, which is a very positive note indeed. Now, before we get too excited, the move is on a trial basis. It is for one bus lane only, and the results will be reviewed after 6 months, but that will be with a view to making the trial permanent and hopefully to spread the trial to other bus lanes. I think there's plenty of cause for hope here, though, because generally speaking, the majority of trial schemes allowing motorcycle access to bus lanes have been successful, and their councils involved have then gone on to approve their use. TfL, for example, here in London is a good example. The Cambridgeshire County Council spokesperson said, "We are keen to improve air quality and encourage people to travel more sustainably. With this in mind, we've started a trial that allows zero-emission vehicles and motorcycles to use the bus lane on Elizabeth Way. Should the trial be successful, then councillors will consider whether the initiative should be continued and widened to other bus lanes across Cambridgeshire." The council's statement of reasons says motorcycles are more fuel efficient and use less road space than cars, so the council wishes to encourage greater use of them. Allowing motorcycles to use bus lanes is an additional incentive for people to purchase and use powered two-wheelers in preference to private cars. Motorcycle use of bus lanes could have some safety benefits, as it would reduce the likelihood of motorcyclists weaving between lanes of slow-moving traffic to avoid queues. Colin Brown, who's the Director of Campaigns and Political Engagement at MAG, has said local MAG members are delighted. They have put a great deal of work into promoting the idea to the council. We also thank local MP Daniel Zeichner, who's been a great help. I especially welcome the unequivocal statement from the council. They want to encourage people to buy and use motorcycles. Now, you may recall I had an interview with Colin Brown here on Elevenses some months back, and after I put that interview up online, there were a few questions along the lines of, what has MAG ever done for me? Well, here's one good answer for you. If you don't live anywhere near Cambridge, don't fear. Precedents like this are vital to the wider acceptance of motorcycling as a congestion busting solution, and to see them as something other than just a public health problem. All right, okay. So don't forget, you are watching Survival Skills here, Kevin Williams with the Elevenses show. If you set your reminders, Wednesdays and Sundays at 11, I will be back on the Sunday just after Christmas. If you want to come along and join us on that show, you'll be more than welcome. And Nick Lascaris also says good morning from, are you still in Germany, Nick? Okay. Whoops, let's just turn that banner off again. Right, so latest COVID update. I'm sure you're sick of hearing about it all, but just to let you know that basically everywhere is starting to move in the same general direction of no motorcycle training. The whole of the Scottish mainland is moving into level 4 from Boxing Day up in Scotland, and that means all rider and driver training up there will be suspended. And Wales, you'll recall, had a allowance for bike and tractor training to go ahead, but they've now turned the tap off on that as well. So Nicola Sturgeon in Scotland has also said that even tougher measures may be coming in. So everything basically in Scotland under level 4 is suspended, Wales is suspended, and England in tier 4 is also suspended. So it makes sense at this moment just to remind you that I am still delivering motorcycle coaching online. I am using my skills as a sounds posh, doesn't it, a distance learning coach to create some genuinely useful online coaching, and that these sessions will cover all kinds of riding from twisty country lanes to city centre commuting. And yes, the online session is limited to theory, but the whole point of being a coach, a rider coach, is that I can give you the same kind of practical exercises in those sessions that you would do out on the road. So all you have to do is make a note of what I've said and then go and try it for yourself. So it's genuinely useful. The feedback has been good on the sessions that I have delivered so far. So just £20 an hour for these, and you can stay warm and dry as you learn. So there's some real benefits out there. Right, okay, so what's next? Well, MCE Insurance claims that the company is making great strides forward with the Green Parts Initiative, and they claim they've reached an environmental sustainable milestone. But they didn't actually say what the milestone is, so who knows exactly what they mean by that. And basically, their plan is that they will be stripping off undamaged parts from written off motorcycles and then selling them. The company has apparently been trading in salvage since 2015. I'm not quite sure what they mean by that, again, because it's well known that insurance companies sell on written off motorcycles to auction houses. But in January this year, they moved into removing the parts themselves, presumably through some kind of tie up with a breaker, one assumes, and into what they're calling the green parts market. And they claim that this will reduce the need to manufacture new parts, thereby reducing carbon footprint. To which I kind of respond, wow. How successful has this project been so far? Well, according to figures released earlier this week to the press, they've managed to sell the grand total of 2,000 bike parts back through the initiative this year. It sounds quite a lot, doesn't it, really, until you kind of start to think how many parts must be undamaged in a bike crash. And you know, if it's a head-on collision, you can normally salvage everything, like the swingy arm and the rear shock and the rear wheel, and there'll be various bits of bodywork which probably aren't damaged. So yes, maybe it's not that many. They hope by the end of next year to be recycling 10,000 parts a year. The thing is, of course, that is this going to reduce premium for bikers who are currently facing skyrocketing bills for their insurance? Now, I would say no, highly unlikely. And MCE Insurance CEO Julian Edwards kind of confirms that when he says that this is all about diversing our income stream. And it's a key element of their strategy at MCE. And they dedicate significant resource to analysing our model for innovative ways to cross-sell into non-risk income. In other words, what they're saying is that insuring us is a risk, but by selling off the bits of our bikes, they can make a profit for no risk whatsoever. So I doubt that the 5 million that they're aiming to gather through their salvage operation is going to come back to bikers. But what I would say is, of course, it could make the supply of second-hand parts through breakers more difficult and more expensive to source. Because as we know, of course, many of us actually use breakers and used parts to rebuild a bike after a minor spill. So, yeah, is this good for bikers? Well, the minute I see a big company like this getting involved, I know MCE aren't particularly big in the insurance market, but they're still bigger than the average backstreet breaker. They're certainly bigger than you and me. So I don't see this as being a benefit for bikers. Right, okay, sorry to be a bit negative about that, but hey-ho, it's life, isn't it, really? Right, okay, so don't forget, it's pretty much your last chance to get a survival skills gift voucher. If you're interested in one of those, you can order them direct from my coffee page. Just head over there and find the shop tab and scoot down on that. And what you'll find basically is that you can order them in two values, 50 and £100. If you buy a £50 gift voucher, you can use it anytime next year, and it'll be worth £60 on the course cost. If you buy a £100 gift voucher, then you get an extra 20 value against the course cost. You can buy more than one until they run out, and you can buy them for yourself, or you can give them as a seasonal gift. So if you're a bit short of Christmas presents this year, maybe that's the way to go. All right, okay, now brace yourselves, because this is truly horrible. There, look at that. That is the Bot Power XR9 Carboner. Now, Yamaha have only themselves to blame for this ghastly lash-up, because it's constructed using what's known as their own yard-built project. This is a long-running scheme which kind of supports custom builders to do something with one of their off-the-shelf bikes. The only thing they're not allowed to modify is the frame. So what you're looking at essentially is a body kit, which is mostly carbon fiber, hence the Carboner part of the name, which bolts onto the existing chassis. As you probably guessed from the name, it fits the SXR900. It'll also go onto an MT09 and a Tracer 9, although why anybody would do that to a perfectly functional, reasonably attractive adventure bike, I have no idea. It's supposed to be an aggressive supermoto style bike, according to the manufacturers, designers, although the whole point of the supermoto, I thought, was to be based around a lightweight, punchy off-road motor to produce a very light, fast accelerating and nimble road bike, not a sort of lardy 900, which will basically weigh pretty much the same as the standard bike, because all you're shedding is a bit of bodywork. And on top of that, it's got more power than most of us will ever use or need. Even more bizarrely, the inspiration for this bike is supposedly Bot Power's Buell-powered BOTT XR1R Racer, which won its class at the 2017 Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. Senior designer Hugo Van Walen, he claimed that it reminded us of a pit bull. Well, as that's a dog originally bred for bull baiting and bullfighting, that may not be much of a selling point. The basic kit will set you back $5,000. There's no price given for extra trick bits, which apparently are in this photo. It didn't actually say which are the extra trick bits. On the Rev to the Limits forum, which I'll just give a quick thumbs up to with my mug, I rather liked Harry's response when I spotted it over there. It's like one of those futuristic bikes that somebody might draw in the 1970s, where everyone would go, wow, and it just looks gash now. Now, I have to agree, that sums it up pretty well for me. So I don't like that motorcycle at all. All right, okay, so, however, have a look at this one. That is fairly obviously an electric scooter, and as I said a few shows back, the trickle of electric motorcycles is becoming a steady stream, and they're starting to come from more mainstream suppliers as well. Now, this is from Rieju, who are better known for building small cc mopeds and 125s. It may be just as ugly as the Pitbull SXR styling exercise we've just seen, but it's fast charge capable and it's a practical little machine. It uses electricity from Bosch, and there are two versions that you can get hold of. There's a speed limited, which would be a moped, and this particular one, which they call a moped in their publicity, but is actually a motorcycle because it's got a 16 mile per hour top speed, and it comes with a 10.5 kilowatt motor. Now, I believe that would make it A1 license suitable, so you could ride this on L plates if you could get yourself a CBT at the moment, which you probably won't. It comes with an optional fast charge cable too, and that allows the 2.4 kilowatt hour battery to be charged in just over the hour. The battery is also removable, and it weighs just over 15 kilos, so it is luggable. The bike's twist and go, predictably, and it has 4 different modes: go, boost, cruise, and crawl. And it also has regenerative braking capacity. It's called the Nuuk, N-U-U-K, I presume it's pronounced Nuke. What else has it got? Well, large display to give you an idea of how much battery power you've got left and how much further you're going to go. You can also do the usual stuff now and connect your app via a Bluetooth powered phone to browse various information about the bike. And that top box there is obviously designed for delivery drivers. It's not standard, but it's an add-on which comes from Rieju. How far will it go? Well, from full, the manufacturers claim a 50-mile range, which is fair enough if you're using it in an urban environment. And whilst there are always doubts, of course, about exactly how far it'll go flat out, probably less than that, it should be enough for some inner city commuting easily. I'm not sure how far the average food delivery rider goes these days, but I'm sure it will cover sort of an evening's work at least. On a single charge, that means it should just about cope with a trip from the edge of the M25 into the centre of London, and you can work it out for your own sort of locality. And if you lug the battery indoors and you hook it up, you can recharge it at work. Of course, extra batteries are also available, so you, in theory, could have one on charge while you're using the other one. The attention is said to be attention grabbing and minimalist. Well, people certainly look twice, but quite frankly, I think it's still pretty. It's not pretty, is it? But it's a functional look, and I quite like that in these bikes. It's certainly better than that nasty muddle of smooth curves and sharp edges of that yard built special we've just seen. The battery's low down. The wheelbase is relatively long for these machines, and it appears to have decent suspension at either end, so hopefully it will ride over with those biggish wheels Britain's roads reasonably well. So, okay, that's the Rieju, what was it called again? I've forgotten. Nuke, that was it, the Rieju Nuke. Right, okay, so anything else to tell you about? Yes, you'll recall that I did an interview for a New Zealand TV station, One News, a few days ago. Well, the feature went to air late last week, but I forgot to include the link on Sunday's show, so I will just put it up now for you. If you want to go, whoops, that's the wrong button. Let's try that one. Too many buttons to press while I'm actually trying to talk at the same time. It's the wrong. Start again. Right. Don't ask me to multitask. I'm not very good at it. Here we go. We'll try and get it up this time round. Looks like the right one. Who else is here? Paul Varnsbury's appeared. Hello, Paul. Good to see you again. Thank you for looking in. Right, so you can have a look at that. As I suspected about the interview, most of it went on the cutting room floor, but they did include one of the important points I made. So you can watch the full feature and find out the context of the interview in that. Right, okay, that's pretty much it for the day. I was going to run a feature on green road closures, but I'm still marshalling the facts on that one, so I will leave you to look forward to that one on another show. I suppose that's it, really, isn't it? So I very much wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I do hope you can all make the most of it. It's obviously going to be a difficult one for most of us, particularly those of us who are in tier 4. So all we can do is hope for better next year, and that as the sun starts to rise into the sky and the days get longer and they get warmer and drier, we start to come back to something like normalcy as the vaccine starts to take effect. So all the best for now. Have a very, very good Christmas, and I hopefully will see you in the one just after Christmas, which will be number 99, and then we can start 2021 afresh. It will be show number 101, which is a remarkable coincidence, isn't it? And Bungie has also looked in this morning, and he says thanks for your broadcasts over the year and have a good Christmas. So yeah, same to you. Right, so thank you all very much again, and we'll see you soon, hopefully. Bye for now. Merry Christmas all.